So the character of Cinderella in Christopher Wheeldon's version, she's really tough and feisty. She really illustrates the notion of what goes around comes around, because she treats everyone with kindness and forgiveness and compassion, and it comes back in the end. In this particular version, we sort of start at the grave of Cinderella's mother. She's lost her mom, and her father has married 𝗕𝗓𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗗𝗓, the stepmother. 𝗕𝗓𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗓 is definitely a bully and likes to kick Cinderella around because Cinderella kind of sees her for what she is, which is not so genuine, not so kind. With the stepsisters, one of them is a little more like trying to be like mom, and the other one has a good heart, but she kind of gets pushed around too, so ends up taking it out on Cinderella sometimes. She ends up taking on the role of a servant because, yeah, her father isn't really stepping up and saying no. She shows a lot of compassion towards even the people who sort of push her down, but I think in a lot of ways that is also her strength because, you know, then sort of good things come to her. In the form of the fates and in the form of the prince. She really drives her story because I think, like, particularly in this version, it's not really like a love at first sight kind of thing with the prince. Prince is, you know, off having fun with his friend Benjamin. He's pretending to be a beggar on the streets, and he comes into the house and Cinderella offers him food and shelter and is just very genuinely kind to him. That's sort of the catalyst for their love, as opposed to her coming into the ball in a beautiful dress. Her personality and her kindness are what make the prince fall in love with her. At a certain point, there's a big ball and everyone gets invitations, Cinderella as well, but unfortunately the stepmother tosses her invitation into the fire, so she's quite heartbroken. And in her sadness, these 4 fates appear, which is different than the traditional fairy godmother that we often see in the cartoons and other versions. But they sort of act as these almost like guardian angels. They guide her. She encounters all these different sort of like spirits in the forest, and they all give her different gifts and qualities and things to sort of carry with her when she goes to the ball. And that's where she sees the prince for the second time. I have multiple favorite parts, but I think one of them is definitely the entrance to the ball, when the fates sort of carry her in, sort of lift her to the prince, and she realizes that, oh, this is the beggar that I met earlier, and she sort of runs away, and they sort of just like nudge her back to him, and they dance together and sort of solidify the attraction and love that they had initially felt. This version of Cinderella is unique because it's in the round. You really just feel like you're in the world because people are coming from every entrance and exit, and the lights are coming from above, and, you know, putting patterns on the floor. Like, there's just so many really special effects, and it's just overwhelming in a lot of ways. It's really beautiful. One of the challenges is kind of actually that you see the audience around you quite a bit more, but at the same time, I kind of like it. You feel very connected to the people that you're dancing for, which is a nice feeling. It can be a little bit tricky to get the timing right for getting the scarf up to create the carriage, but it's so magical. Like, when I watch it, it makes me a little bit teary.